Hi passionate Rangers FC fans, welcome to Rangers. Update, your dedicated source for all things Rangers. Before we dive in, we want to express our gratitude for your unwavering support. If you bleed blue, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and let's strengthen our community. Now let's get into the latest updates. A hearty welcome to our new followers. Your backing means the world to us. White P, let's get to the news. There's a storm brewing in the Rangers dressing room, and the whispers coming out of Ibrox are getting louder by the day. The latest name being tossed around in the rumor mill is none other than John SOUTTAR, the experienced Scottish defender who has been a steady presence at the back for the Light Blues. But this time, it's not about transfers or injuries. No, this one's personal. According to sources close to the camp, SOUTTAR has drawn a line in the sand and declared, albeit not in public, that he will no longer share the pitch with Brazilian left-back JEFTÉ. The nature of their falling out hasn't been officially confirmed, but the tension between the two has reportedly escalated behind the scenes. Some say it's down to a training ground bust-up that got out of hand, others whisper about dressing room politics and broken trust. But what's becoming increasingly clear is that something is very wrong within the defensive unit. For a club chasing titles and trying to restore its domestic dominance, having two key defenders at odds spells nothing but trouble. And fans are starting to pick up on the friction, even if the club keeps things hush-hush for now. You have to ask yourself, what could have gone so wrong between two professionals that one refuses to even line up alongside the other? This isn't schoolyard drama, it's elite football at the highest level in Scotland, where every decision has consequences. John SOUTTAR, known for his professionalism and calm demeanor, isn't the type to stir the pot unless things have truly reached boiling point. Some insiders suggest that it began with minor miscommunications on the pitch. Positional overlaps, breakdowns in defensive structure, but quickly evolved into something more toxic. Perhaps it was a clash of egos or a deeper cultural divide that the club failed to address. JEFTÉ, still relatively new to Scottish football, may be struggling to fully adapt not just to the pace and physicality of the game, but also to the expectations within the Rangers squad. His flair and bold style of play, while exciting going forward, may not sit well with someone like SOUTTAR, who values discipline and structure. When two footballing philosophies collide, it's not always a coach who can mediate the fallout. Sometimes the players themselves draw lines that no manager can cross. Behind closed doors, it's said the two had to be separated during a heated training session last month, with coaching staff stepping in to calm things down. At the time, the incident was brushed off as competitive intensity, but now, with SOUTTAR allegedly stating he won't play alongside JEFTÉ again, those early signs look like foreshadowing rather than coincidence. There are murmurs that Michael Beale, or whoever ends up taking the reins long term, will have a real dilemma on his hands if this rift isn't resolved quickly. JEFTÉ, after all, is a young and promising player who was brought in with big expectations and has shown flashes of brilliance going forward. SOUTTAR, on the other hand, brings experience, leadership, and stability. Losing either could disrupt the defensive core, but playing both when one refuses cooperation, that's untenable. What's worse is the effect it could have on the rest of the squad. Dressing room divides don't stay isolated for long. Players start picking sides, and before you know it, the unity that fuels a title challenge begins to crumble. Supporters are starting to speculate online, dissecting body language during games and combing through post-match interviews for hints of tension. JEFTÉ has been noticeably absent from recent lineups, with club statements citing rotations and minor knocks, but many aren't buying the official line. It's becoming more apparent that his exclusion may have less to do with fitness and more to do with internal politics. And when SOUTTAR does take the pitch, there's been a stoic intensity about him. No celebrations, no pats on the back for teammates, just business. It's as if he's carrying more than just defensive responsibility. He's carrying frustration. The fans have always valued transparency, and while clubs like Rangers often try to shield players from media scrutiny, the pressure is mounting. If SOUTTAR's statement, private or not, gains traction and JEFTÉ continues to sit out the year, whispers will only grow louder. And in Glasgow, where football is more than just a game, those whispers can quickly become roars. What complicates matters further is the club's long-term vision. Rangers aren't just playing for the Premiership title, they're also rebuilding a squad that can challenge consistently in Europe. That means integrating youth flair and international talent like JEFTÉ into a traditionally disciplined and structured system. If players like SOUTTAR, who represent the old guard, and the local core of the team clash with that vision, then it puts management in a difficult position. Do they back the experience that's proven on cold nights in Dingwall, or do they commit to the future even if it means parting ways with a seasoned veteran? Fans will be divided. Some will say SOUTTAR's stance is unprofessional, others will argue he's protecting the integrity of the team. But the one undeniable truth is this: the longer this tension goes unresolved, the more it undermines the squad's cohesion. Training sessions become tense, communication breaks down, and eventually, the results start to slip. Interestingly, some ex-players have weighed in, quietly suggesting that this isn't the first time such friction has emerged at Rangers. There's a historical undercurrent at the club where cultural and playing style clashes have led to internal discontent. JEFTÉ might be the latest in a line of flashy imports who struggle to mesh with the gritty, no-nonsense core of the team. That's not to say he doesn't have talent, far from it, but adapting to the expectations at Rangers takes more than technical ability. It takes buy-in, humility, and a thick skin. SOUTTAR, by all accounts, feels JEFTÉ hasn't shown enough of those qualities. Whether that's fair or not is a matter of perspective. But in a squad where trust is everything, especially across the backline, any fracture can become fatal. This story still unfolding is already stirring up the press, the fans, and potentially even the boardroom. And in the high-pressure cooker of Scottish football, that's a recipe for drama. All of this begs the question, where do Rangers go from here? If SOUTTAR's stance is firm and JEFTÉ isn't budging, either the club might be forced into making a decision that could define their season. Can they afford to offload one of them before the window closes? Would they risk alienating a fan base already demanding answers and reinforcements? Or is there still hope for reconciliation behind the scenes, away from the media glare? Some say a team-building retreat is being considered to mend fences, while others claim it's too late, that the damage is done. What's certain is that this situation, if allowed to fester, could derail what should have been a promising campaign. And all it takes is one poor result, one defensive lapse for the narrative to explode. SOUTTAR's declaration might not be public, yeah, but it's out there. And once these things leak, they rarely go away quietly. Stay tuned, because this story is just heating up. Now, the second part of this swirling drama isn't just about tension, it's about consequences. Because when a seasoned pro like John SOUTTAR reportedly tells his inner circle that he won't play another minute alongside JEFTÉ, it's not just locker room gossip. It's a statement that forces the club's hand. Imagine the scenario. Training sessions split, defensive drills awkwardly adjusted to keep the two apart teammates caught in the middle, wondering who they'll be grouped with next. It becomes more than just two players clashing, it becomes a fissure threatening to split the team. And in a club like Rangers, with its passionate support and sky-high expectations, the margin for this kind of chaos is razor thin. Some in the Rangers staff are believed to be scrambling behind the scenes trying to downplay the issue, perhaps hoping it'll blow over. But SOUTTAR's stance, if true, suggests this isn't a passing grudge. It's a red line. He's said to be calm but resolute. Quiet but firm in his belief that JEFTÉ isn't someone he can trust on or off the pitch. That kind of personal and professional breakdown doesn't just heal overnight, and it certainly doesn't get solved with a team huddle and a handshake. And the silence from both players is deafening. No cryptic Instagram posts, no public statements, no interviews hinting at tension, just a void that's being filled by speculation, murmurs from insiders, and growing unrest among the supporters. If there's one thing fans know, it's that silence is rarely innocent. The absence of JEFTÉ from the matchday squad for 3 straight games now has raised eyebrows, especially since there's been no official injury update. Meanwhile, SOUTTAR remains ever present, perhaps sending a subtle message, "I'm not going anywhere." That power dynamic is impossible to ignore. Is the club quietly backing SOUTTAR? Is JEFTÉ being sidelined as a result of this personal conflict, or is he being protected while tensions cool? Theories are flying, and none of them are flattering for the club's image. Some suggest that JEFTÉ is being quietly shopped around, while others insist Rangers still see him as part of their long-term plans. Either way, the lack of transparency has left fans frustrated and analysts puzzled. And in the unforgiving environment of Scottish football, That uncertainty is like blood in the water. Let's not forget either that Rangers are under immense pressure to dethrone Celtic this season. Every point dropped, every internal disruption could be the difference between silverware and second place. So to have this kind of unrest behind closed doors, especially between two defenders who are supposed to form the spine of the team, is a serious concern. There's a belief that other senior players have tried to intervene. Players like James Tavernier or Connor Goldson, attempting to mediate between SOUTTAR and JEFTÉ, but without much success. The alleged source of the conflict still remains. Somewhat ambiguous, with suggestions ranging from tactical disagreements to deeper personality clashes. Some even whisper that it began off the pitch entirely. Something personal that spilled into professional life. Whatever the origin, the impact is now squarely on the team and the coaching staff, already under pressure for performances, and results must now balance squad harmony with tactical consistency. Playing without JEFTÉ means reshuffling defensive roles. Dropping SOUTTAR, that would raise an even bigger storm. It's not the first time a squad has had internal rivalries, of course. But in most elite teams, issues like this are handled quietly, professionally, behind closed doors. The fact that this particular rift is leaking out into the open suggests just how serious it is. Sources close to Ibrox have even hinted that SOUTTAR gave an ultimatum, that if forced to share the backline with JEFTÉ again, he'd rather sit out or request a move in January. That's no small threat, and it puts the club's leadership in a delicate bind. SOUTTAR isn't just another name on the sheet. He's a figure of stability, a player many consider vital to Rangers' domestic and European ambitions. And yet, alienating a young, exciting talent like JEFTÉ carries its own risks. The Brazilian was touted as a future star when he arrived, and there were real hopes he'd become a key figure in the squad's evolution. Now that vision is at risk of crumbling, all because of a clash that might never be fully explained in public. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. You can feel the unease among the fan base. Supporters want clarity, and in the absence of it, they fill the void with their own theories. The forums are buzzing with debates: who's in the right, who should be dropped, and whether either player should be shown the door. Some argue that SOUTTAR, with his composed leadership and no-nonsense defending, represents the values Rangers should uphold. Others claim that backing him at the expense of integrating new talent like JEFTÉ sends the wrong message to younger foreign players who might consider joining. It's a battle of philosophies: stability versus innovation, grit versus flair. But beneath it all lies one truth that's hard to ignore: if two players can't coexist in the same lineup, someone has to go. And the clock is ticking. With the transfer window still open, decisions are being weighed heavily. Clubs in England and abroad are said to be watching closely, especially if it looks like JEFTÉ might become available under the radar. His potential, despite the drama, remains high. Behind the scenes, don't be surprised if agents are already sounding out options. JEFTÉ's camp might be exploring a move, either temporary or permanent, just to get him out of the firing line. No player wants to sit on the sidelines indefinitely, especially not at his age. A lone move might suit all parties. It cools the tension, gives the player game time, and lets Rangers reassess come January. But even that is a band-aid, not a solution. The root problem remains a breakdown in trust and camaraderie in basic team unity. And if SOUTTAR is standing firm, the club might see little choice but to quietly facilitate JEFTÉ's exit, even if they still believe in his talent. Because once a player draws that line and refuses to share the pitch, there's no going back without one side swallowing pride. And from the sounds of it, neither of these players is backing down. In the harsh light of Ibrox, that means someone's time could be up sooner than expected. As this saga unfolds, the media attention will only intensify. Journalists are already digging, asking probing questions at press conferences, trying to catch a slip of the tongue or an offhand remark that confirms what many suspect. But Rangers brass are keeping their cards close, hoping to manage the narrative. Still, there's only so long you can hold the dam before the flood comes. Fans are demanding answers, pundits are circling, and rival clubs are watching with interest. The longer this goes unresolved, the more disruptive it becomes. And if either player breaks silence, things could spiral quickly. Imagine a Tellal interview or even a vague social media post. It would light up Scottish football's media landscape like wildfire. This isn't just about one player refusing to play with another. It's about what that refusal says about the club's internal culture, leadership, and future. Rangers find themselves at a crossroads and how they handle this behind the scenes. Fallout may define more than just this season. It could set the tone for years to come. In the end, only a few scenarios remain. The first, reconciliation forced or genuine, with both players returning to the pitch and putting the team first. The second one of them, likely JEFTÉ, is quietly moved on to preserve squad harmony. The third, and most damaging, the rift spreads, infects the broader squad, and becomes a symbol of deeper issues within the club's management. SOUTTAR's stance, however quiet, has drawn a line that will be difficult to walk back. And JEFTÉ, whether wronged or simply misunderstood, is now in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Whatever the truth may be, it's clear that something must give. And in Glasgow, where football stories never stay small for long, this is one that's only just getting started. Whether you're Team SOUTTAR or Team JEFTÉ, buckle up, because this isn't just a rumor anymore. It's a crisis waiting for a headline, and by the looks of things, that headline is coming soon. And just when you think this saga couldn't twist any further, new whispers are beginning to float through the corridors of Auchenhowie. According to an unnamed source close to the squad, the coaching staff may have already been warned weeks ago about the growing hostility between SOUTTAR and JEFTÉ, not through a fiery confrontation, but through a quiet ongoing breakdown in communication. During training, apparently defensive drills involving both players were becoming noticeably disjointed. Instructions had to be repeated. Positioning errors that hadn't happened before started cropping up. At first, it seemed like nothing more than rust or a lack of chemistry, but those around the team began to suspect it was something deeper. By the time the alleged training ground spat occurred, it was merely the culmination of weeks of slow-burning resentment. Some say it's professional incompatibility, two footballing minds that just don't sync. Others insist it's personal, rooted in off-pitch comments or a breach of respect that neither player has been willing to walk back. Whatever the case, is clear now that Rangers coaching staff didn't act swiftly enough, and what might have been nipped in the bud has now bloomed into a full-blown issue with real consequences for the season ahead. And let's not ignore the role of leadership in all of this. If John SOUTTAR feels confident enough to issue such a stark stance, whether privately or behind closed doors, it suggests he believes he has backing from higher up. Whether that's from senior figures in the dressing room, the coaching staff, or even the sporting director, there's an implication that SOUTTAR's voice carries serious weight. That makes sense considering his role in the squad and the high standards he brings, but it also creates a difficult precedent. If one player can essentially veto another's inclusion, where does it stop? Does this embolden others to speak out when they disagree with a teammate's attitude, style, or behavior? Or is this simply a one-off case of irreconcilable differences between two individuals who, despite wearing the same crest, see the game, and perhaps the world, through completely different lenses? The fallout from this situation might not just be a change in the starting camera. It could be a reckoning in how Rangers handles internal conflict, how it fosters unity, and whether it's truly ready to blend experience with youth tradition, with evolution. And so the question remains, who blinks first? Will JEFTÉ come forward, swallow his pride, and make amends for the sake of his future at Rangers? Or will SOUTTAR soften, perhaps urged by teammates or management to give the Brazilian another chance? Or more likely, has that bridge already burned to ash we're entering? A crucial stretch in the season, and distractions like these are deadly. Every game, every result from here on out will be viewed through the lens of this divide. A goal conceded on the left flank, fingers will point. A shaky defensive performance, more fuel for the fire. In a club where pressure never lifts, this kind of rift doesn't just fester, it defines eras. Fans will remember this feud not just for the names involved, but for how the club chose to deal with it. And with the transfer window ticking away and the next Old Firm showdown looming ever closer, time is running out for a resolution. One way or another, Rangers will have to pick a side, even if they try their best to keep it behind closed doors. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.